wanted to just get into real quick, and again, YouTube Live, SportsRap TV, get over there and check us out. Some of this video will be posted later on Facebook, so if you can't get to YouTube, if you're at work or something like that, and whatever, we'll get you caught up, don't worry. The case for Kawhi Leonard as the best basketball player alive. It's a very good argument. I also think it's a very, very intriguing argument because, like we said, we had the hierarchy: LeBron, Giannis,
KD.
and Kawhi, and KD. So you can add names to the list for sakes of argument purposes. And again, the case for Kawhi Leonard being the best basketball player alive. Out of those four that we just named, with this, if you just look at those four, you have a very, very legit argument. We both know, and everyone knows us, know how regular, understanding basketball talk. Giannis, like we mentioned when we talked about him 2 weeks ago, we notice, we see the growth, we see the want to improve, the want to be the best player, where he's now extended his game. And we all know what Kevin Durant is. The one thing I think that sets Kawhi apart in those four is, if I had to put it on something, I would say his defensive prowess.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, it's no disrespect to the other guys. I think Giannis's, of course, his fundamentals are great. He's from Greek, so of course his fundamentals are going to be intact because that's the type of style that they teach overseas and across the waters. Kevin Durant's okay. Fundamentals are okay.
Yeah.
He has an advantage though, his size and the position that he plays, and his skill set. LeBron has the IQ, I believe. But again, like we said when we talked about the NBA and Dave Stern, we talked about guys coming straight out of high school to play right in at 17, 18. You had to be something special. I think with Kawhi's defense, it makes him special.
Yeah, it sets him apart. It does set him apart.
And he's not one of those dudes that just plays defense because that's part of the game.
Right.
He gets into it. Like
he has a want.
Yeah, he has a want.
Yeah.
Like you said, like Charles Barkley always said, you can do this, you can do that, but if you want to rebound and be defensive, you gotta want it.
Yeah.
You gotta have the heart. You
all
gotta
effort.
want it.
All effort.
You gotta have the effort. His effort is there. I think his effort is equal on both ends of the floor. Unlike, and again, no disrespect to some of the other players, but their balance is not like his balance is. I don't believe.
Yeah, I agree to that. I think that, like you said, I think that Bron's IQ is what it. That's what's going to keep LeBron James relevant, even when
it's going to keep him in the conversation.
Yeah, even when his athleticism starts to decline, because he's always been a multi-purpose player.
Right.
In terms of wanting to pass the ball and all that stuff, he'll always kind of stay relevant as he declines physically. But Kawhi Leonard, his want to go after who's hot, who got the hot hand, it don't matter to him. And he's attached with another player on that team, but the dynamic duo is him and Paul George, another guy who can lock in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got guys that can score, that can create their own shot. That's the key.
Right.
Guys that can create their own shot, but then on the other end of the court can zone and lock in defensively and stop your best player from getting a comfortable shot.
And in today's NBA, that's a lost art. It's almost unexpected, if you will, because as far as the fans base and sometimes the coaching staff, things of that nature, you don't expect somebody like a Kawhi Leonard or a superstar to 15.
Because the thought process is if you're the superstar, you're there to score.
Yeah. I'm gonna help out. Yeah, I'm gonna help out.
Yeah,
when
you're James Harden.
When it's easy for me, I'm gonna help out.
You know what you'll hear people say? I mean, I don't care if James Harden don't lock in. He give you 40, right?
And again, like
but
said,
when the game's on the line, his man is going to be a dynamic duo, like you said about KD. KD is he a beast, man.
Yeah.
He a beast.
Yeah, again, another one of those like Giannis, man, that freak of nature for the position that he plays.
Giannis, to me, plays better defense than Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I think so.
He plays better defense than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's offensive skill set is just better than Giannis. But they're almost identical.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, two freaks in nature. Like
yeah,
he's got the right name.
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely a freaking name.
There you have it, folks. The case for Kawhi Leonard, you heard it from us, our take on it. You can Google it and you can send us stuff, Facebook, SportsRap Radio Show, the group page. You can tag me or send me messages, Instagram and Twitter at SportsRap_D, or to the Facebook group, like I said. You can send me some stuff and talk about it. Let us know what you thought about what you thought about what we said, or you can just give us your opinions on what we said and what the topics were. Mm-hmm. So before we give you your schedules for today, you got NBA games tonight, you got NHL games tonight. Something that we haven't done in a couple of weeks. 1 week because we were off and we just didn't get to it because of the conversation and the way it developed. On the clock. Who you got tuned in, Baldy? You got anybody tuned in right now?
Right now I got let's see, got my man JR, my man Mike, my man E and Kev.
Alright, JR, Mike, E, or Kev. Right now, somebody give me a number between 1 and 5. We're going to do our newly minted segment on the clock. Somebody has to give us a number before we get into it, or we will pick a number on our own. So we're going to give you a couple minutes.
We're going to give you a couple minutes.
While we give you these couple
Mike,
minutes.
JR, Mike, Kev, number from 1 to 5.
We are going to give you your NHL schedules for tonight. The Avalanche are at the Islanders. The Oilers are at the Maple Leafs. The Jets are at the Canadiens. The Blue Jackets are at the Kings. We can go into, we got a number yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. So we'll give you the NBA schedule as well. The Nets are at the Magic. The Sixers are back in action at home against the Thunder. Celtics are at the Wizards. The Pacers are at the Hornets. The Nuggets are at the Hawks. The Jazz face off against the Pelicans. The Bucks are at the Spurs. The Bulls are at the Mavs. And the Warriors are at the Kings.
I got my man Dean. Hey Dean, give me a number from 1 to 5, Dean. See if I can get this number here. Got the.
We got him.
Yeah, got my man Dean in here. This attorney at law.
He should have gave us a number. Quick.
Yeah, attorney at law. Y'all got 30 seconds to give me a number. We gonna pick one. And well, let's just pick one, D. Let's pick one.
So we'll go with 5. Now I'm looking at it. It's fitting for what we discussed earlier. We talked about David Stern and his impact on the game and how on the court and off the court things have developed from him and his reign as commissioner. So, is the NBA now too soft?
The NBA to me is a scorer's dream. It's almost like the NFL. It's geared towards putting points. Hey, you know what, bro? We gonna do that pick. Yeah, you can do a pick. But we're gonna do number 5.
We're gonna do number 5 right now.
Give me a
number
pick.
5.
We're gonna do number 5.
Is the NBA
so is
now
the NBA
too soft?
now too soft? In a sense, yeah. The touch fouls become. Just look at the number of fouls that have been called over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So in the last 5 years, you're seeing the infield line has went up. Field goal percentages went up because the missed shot doesn't count against your field goal percentage. So now your point total is going up. So I mean, guys are getting ghost fouls, barely getting touched, barely getting bumped, and it's getting to the point where it's soft. It's getting to the point where the NFL is almost similar, where it's like two-hand touch league over there. So yeah, it's definitely at a point where it seems to be getting real soft. Yeah, it seems to be getting real soft.
I also agree. I think the league is pretty much soft now. The way the hand checking rule has changed, like you said, Baldy, if you're a scorer, you are automatically at an advantage. I think the way that fouls are called is also hindering and helping making the game as soft.
Yeah.
The swing through. I mean, I'm a Sixers fan. I like the call when JoJo gets it, but it's a difference when JoJo gets it as a big man as opposed to Harden getting it as a guard. Still the same issue though. I think that softens up the league. I mean, you got to finish. The way they changed the and one. The whole process of shot being an and one as opposed to back in the 80s and early of an advantage. So yes, it's a consensus. We do think that the NBA is soft.
All right, got my man Roy. He just said he'll take number 3.
Number 3.
So number 3 is.
So number 3.
The question:
is it time to replace Brett Brown as the Sixers head coach?
Is it time to replace Brett Brown as the
Question
Sixers
number 3 from one of our listeners: is it time to replace Brett Brown as the Sixers coach?
I'll
start this time.
Yeah, you can
think
start
about
this
that
time.
a little bit. Ironically, I was just talking about this to a good friend of mine at work the other day, and my thoughts are very, very similar to the thoughts that I had when Andy Reid was let go as the Eagles coach. I think that, and looking at this 4-game stretch, how the team has responded and how they've played, body language, like we like to say, the game within the game. I think it's just time that this marriage has just run its course. He's been here through the thick, he's been here through the thin, he's been here through the bad, the ugly, and now he's here for the good. But I think with the roster that is made up now, I don't think some of the guys are being utilized correctly. I think a lot of people are starting to see that I was not crazy when I told people 2 years ago that Ben Simmons was not a point guard. He was playing point guard because of Brett Brown. It's starting to show even more because now everybody's still stuck on the thing. They want him to shoot. I too, but my concern I want him to shoot the ball too in the mid range, and we talked about that several times. But my issue becomes, I need my point guard to be able to shoot free throws, let alone shoot the ball, because the point guard is the extension of the coach on the floor. You're going to have the ball a lot late in games. I need you to shoot better than 59% from the free throw line. So I don't think that Brett Brown is right now getting the best out of these young players. I think these players need to be held more accountable for their actions on and off the court. So I do think that it may be time for a change. Unfortunately, in basketball, it's very difficult to continue winning and changing your coaching, stuff like that, mid-season or during the season. So, I did say it in the beginning of the year as well, and I'm still sticking to that. I think Elton Brand will possibly give him the entire season and then make a decision after that. But I do think that the marriage needs to be severed. I think it's time to try something different.
I agree too. I believe that, especially in the NBA, there's waves, and so we had this wave of talent that came in, and we're here, and adding another piece gets us over the hump. But The kick about that wave is just like any wave, it can fizzle out real quick.
Right.
And those players can get tired of going through the same process of when and done, I'm home. When and done, I'm home. Something has to change. And, you have to start looking at the coach. Now, before we was giving him a little break because he had never had the guys healthy.
Right.
Okay, well, this is be the third season he's had with them on the healthier side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Said that in a particular game, he said, I have to, in certain parts of the game, I have to run plays. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean in certain parts of the game? That's part of the game.
That's part of the game
coaching.
every time you got a possession. And it goes back to what we say before, simplicity of the game. If
Right.
if my point guard is 6'10", why are we not clearing out area for him to maneuver on the post, work out whoever point guard you got, work them out,
Mark Jackson did it.
get them in foul trouble early. Each team, because your point guard is 6'10", he can get every point guard in trouble, in foul trouble early.
Every night.
And we can be shooting free throws literally in the first 4 minutes of a game of every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it easier on our big man now when he does face up. Once somebody touch him,
And all the talk about the double teams now they got to think more about them double teams now. Because I already got 3 fouls. I can't go swiping in there and pick up my 4th.
mm-hmm.
And now I got to sit for a while.
Yeah.
I sit for,
Yeah.
depending on how long I have to sit, the game could be over by the time I get back.
Right,
If
right.
I get back.
Right.
So
And it goes back to what, people ask, well, who are you going to bring in? Who are you going to bring in? We have been saying Mark Jackson for a very long time. Because he is hand scripted for the type of team that we have.
Yeah.
He's hand scripted. Like understanding that we can go to a slower lineup because we got a bigger team.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get in the half court offense. When that game's on the line, we get in the half court offense, we can control the game. And we still can run. I'm hearing Monty talk about, Monty said, get rid of the system, let them run. Well, cuz, I don't know if you've been paying attention, that's all we do is run.
That's all we do. They shoot too many threes. They don't
Our
have enough
system
legit
is to
shooters. And they want to get out and
we
run.
ain't got shooters.
But you got Al Horford, who I believe is not Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
I initially thought it coming in. I was like, that could be a great asset to JoJo. Still could be, but it's got to be utilized.
Well, he
the right
doesn't
way.
fit with us because their team was allocated on shooters and guys that could create their own shot.
Right.
That created room.
Right.
We don't have any
We don't
room
have
because we don't really have shooters and nobody else can create their own shot except our center.
Yeah.
So it puts Al Horford in a bad situation because
Absolutely.
you can't have him out there because that's 3 post players in the game at the same time.
Yeah.
And we just stuck. We in a bad situation. We need a point guard. We need a Kuzma.
Well, we got one. We got a point guard.
Well,
You
yeah.
know, and he should have been playing a little bit more longer, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I felt like Trey Burke should have been playing prior to Nato. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and yeah, like Monty said, I hear you. You wasn't saying, get out and run. The system, get out of the system. I hear you. And that's what we saying. That system is designed for Golden State.
Right.
That system's not designed for us because we
system
lack
could work
the
with the
shooters
Clippers.
and the scorers.
It could work with the Clippers.
It could work with the Clippers. It could work with
It could
LA.
Boston. It could work with Boston right
It can
now
work
as
with
well.
Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But that style of play does not work for us,
Right.
which I don't understand because I don't understand why he would implement that system when the system you came from is literally what we should be running.
Pretty much.
You came from a San Antonio system with a post player, a slasher, and we're lacking the point guard.
Yep.
That's what we're lacking. So that's the system you came from. Why not utilize what you know?
Yeah.
You can't
Absolutely.
always try to fit in with the wave.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Look at Pop. Pop ain't trying to fit in.
Listen, and he ain't going to.
And the athleticism that he has on the roster now, he's using them in his system.
Mm-hmm.
Where they fit in his system, which I think is a good coaching.
Yes, yeah.
That being said, folks, it is a wrap. That is your show today. SportsRap. It's your boy, D.
It's your
boy
boy
Baldy.
Ball.
You know where to find me. At SportsRap_D, Instagram and Twitter. Facebook, Sports Rap Radio Show, the group page. The website, sportsrapradio.com. YouTube, Sports Rap TV. Podcast, Sports Rap Podcast.
Yep.
Podcast new episode will go up tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And we will see you next week and all week on social media. As we like to say, be great on purpose. Enjoy your Monday, and we will see you next week, same time, same station, and we'll be back at it. See you next week, folks. Enjoy the music, the mixes, and we will get all of this stuff straightened out for you. So just bear with us. But we thank you for your support, and we appreciate your support as well.